Hello everyone. Today UPSC Mains Essay paper was there. So I'm VIKRANT BHOSALE. I'm going to give you an overview of the topic and their correct interpretation. The paper was on expected line. It was a mixture of philosophical topics and some topics that were related to current happenings in the society. So let's look at section A. In section A, the first topic is oxymorons reflect the ironies of life. Now there are certain keywords which if you investigate deeper, you'll be able to interpret the topic in a perfect way. These two keywords are oxymorons and ironies. Their meaning is similar. Okay, oxymoron means use of such a word which convey contradictory meaning. For example, deafening silence. Okay, so deafening means which very loud, while silence is exactly opposite to very loud, right? So the presence of oxymorons in our language, in our usage, indicates the ironies of life. What does it mean? The main demand of this topic from a candidate is that a candidate should be able to show that he or she understands the complexities of the life. That the life is complex. It is not simply black and white or this or that. Sometimes two opposite things can come together and they may give rise to a new different thing. So it could be synthesis, antithesis or synthesis. So for example, a failure can be a stepping stone for success. And together they enrich our understanding about the life and bring wisdom. So such kind of, and this interpretation can be applied in various spheres. It could be for governance, it could be for ethical dimension, it could be for philosophical dimension, it could be also for psychological dimension. For example, in attitudes, you might have heard that there are contradictory or ambivalent attitudes, right? So why does they exist? Because the mental life or mental world is not simply black and white, it is full of complexities. So whether you understand these dimensions or complexity of the life or not, that they want to check. Second is a grateful mind is a very beautiful. So the central theme of the topic is mind. But what kind of mind? A grateful. So here the value that you need to explore in deep is gratitude. Okay. And how gratitude makes a mind beautiful. So again, you have to also explore the concept of beautiful mind. Okay. What are its various dimensions? So what does happens because of gratitude? Gratitude brings humility. Gratitude brings appreciation. Gratitude also creates very good relationship with the people around us. Gratitude also makes us curious about things. Gratitude also, makes us thankful about those things which happen to us even though we did not expect them. So these are different things which makes a mind compassionate, kind, curious, appreciative, open, tolerant about things around us, and that is the sign of beautiful mind. Now you can explain this topic by giving both philosophical as well as psychological arguments. But the example can be drawn from different spheres of GS like history, even mythology, even political examples, social examples, even charity that is done in different arenas. So these examples could fit here. Okay. Then third topic is a thorn is a changed bud. Now this is important topic. The thorn and bud are exactly opposite thing. Thorn represents problems, issues, or something which is difficult, troubled thing. A bud represents something which is innocent, vulnerable, delicate. So what does this topic convey in effect? What was bud or what was innocent, vulnerable, or delicate once upon time? Over a period, it has become a thorn. Means over a period it has become a difficult thing, over a period it has become a problem, over a period it has become a challenge, right? So this connection you have to show, the transformation of a bud into thorn. How does it happen? Why does it happen? And what kind of opportunities it represents us to explore the human life in all. So again, this is a philosophical topic, but the arguments, philosophical arguments in this topic can be supported through various GS examples. So for example, in society, what are the problems today had root cause is something that was once upon a very delicate situation, vulnerable situation or emotional situation. Even you look at the serial killers who become problem for the society had a traumatic childhood. So that way you can show connection and transformation of something which was very delicate, but now it has become monstrous, right? Fourth, now the speciality of this topic is it is very much contemporary, right? And this was asked in last year's Unix test series. The topic is when two elephants fight, it is the grass that gets trampled. Now here, grass and elephant are metaphors. So this is a metaphorical essay. Elephant represents something that is powerful. So it could be nations, it could be state, it could be corporations, it could be organizations, it could be individuals as well. But here, grass represents something which is powerless. Normally it is common man. Okay, so when these two powerful entities clash with each other, the grass or common man that suffers. Now this you have to explain at various levels. Political clashes, corporate competitions, higher level problems or wars that are happening between two giants like Cold War between USA and Russia or China and USA, right? So international level, even business competition, even two individuals in society, they compete against each other and in between they end up common man as their pawns. So this way you have to explain how and why does it happen. And then you can suggest way forward. What should be done to make sure that the grass would not suffer because of the fight between elephants. Rather best, we should avoid fight between elephants and we should be able to settle it peacefully, right? So this was section A and it was largely inclined towards more philosophical topics. Here you are expected to give philosophical arguments, not mere examples. Examples had secondary role to prove your argument. So this was philosophical section. Now let's move to section B. It was though the topic seemed philosophical, but it was majorly oriented towards GS based topic. Okay. So for example, this topic, a nature is a symbol of the spirit. Now this topic or this theory or this line of thought is close to known as naturalism. Okay, it is one of the frameworks in philosophy where nature is accorded highest importance. What do you mean by spirit? Spirit is an energy. It is also human life, right? So how human life or energy is derived from nature? Even meaning of the human life, right? People try to find meaning in nature, right? For example, trees, plants, rivers, oceans, skies, birds, animals. These constitute the small ingredient of our mental, emotional and spiritual world. So this way you have to show connection of nature, how we are inseparable part of nature, how nature has biggest contribution to our art, literature, even sometimes our culture, our social practices. So this spirit that we have is from nature and nature symbolizes that spirit. That connection you have to show. So here you can bring diverse material from tribal communities, from ancient social practices, traditional cultural practices, even our philosophical inclination to question the life and look at the existence of life. This is all symbolized in nature, right? Even change, that everything changes and change is cyclical, is also symbolized by nature. So this spirit means here energy, human life or our mental world is symbolized by nature. Okay. Then sixth topic was about, a well-educated mind. And what is the sign? That it asks more questions than it has answers. Now, why does it is called well-educated? Because education opens up your mind. It makes you realize that you know very little. And that's why there is a lot to know. This you realize through education. So it cultivates curiosity. It brings up critical thinking. It prompts you to explore different arenas of life. And thereby it gives rise to a number of questions. It also brings wisdom that we need to cultivate our, learnings. We need to continuously learn. Rather, to learn is to, live, right? So that kind of mind happens through only well education, right? And answers, having more answers means being complacent. Once you realize that you know a lot and you need not know a lot, then your learning stops. And that is a sign of not educated mind. That is a sign of ignorant mind, right? So you are ignoring, you are being ignorant about many things which you yet don't know. So this kind of exploration was expected in this. So it is more about education, what role it plays in opening up the mind, and how we should learn throughout the life in society. Then 7th topic was about decision making, and it says that if you shelve or postpone hard decisions, what you are doing is least ethical. Now, why do people postpone or shelve hard decisions? Because they find sometimes taking hard decision is unpopular. Sometimes they are not able to be a resistance of people around them who oppose such hard decision. Sometimes they have comfort zone in postponing the hard decisions, but it has a more harmful long-term consequences. So that is why it is least ethical. So the price of such inaction, rather inaction is implied here, the price of such inaction is paid by future generation. So for example, today, stopping use of fossil fuel is a hard decision. But if we postpone it, the future generations are going to pay with the worst climate change events. That way you can explore its implication not only at environmental stage, but also at political level, at economic level. For example, 1991 LPG reforms were hard decisions. But had they been postponed, the situation would have been worse. That way you have to explore at economic level, even social level, like stopping certain unethical practices was a hard decision. Opposing it, reformers took the hard decision. But had they not done it, then the society would have been very worse, right? So that way you have to see that how sometimes the unpopular hard decisions taken today deliver long-term beneficial impact. And last is, a good leader is the one who follows the followers. Now, what is expected in this topic? That attributes of good leader. And why does he follows the followers? What do you mean by follows the followers? The one who is concerned with the well-being of the follower, the one who listens to people, the one who cares about their well-being, the one who understands that even people have wisdom to take popular and good decisions, right? So the good leader is the one who is people-centric, who is concerned with their well-being, and that's why they often follow their followers. Means follow in a way, not blindly following the followers, understanding from them what needs to be done, listening to them carefully, listening to their voices, listening to their concerns, also thinking selflessly about their well-being. So this way, this topic was needed. And here are plenty examples, like Gandhi, you can quote, even Nelson Mandela, and many more, important leaders that have happened in world history and Indian history. They displayed these traits, right? So full of this topic gives you scope to quote many leaders, their quotes, even about leadership and what does it mean to serve the people, right? For example, Gandhi's quote, the best way to discover yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. So here, other-centeredness is important here. And that is what makes a good leader, one who is selfless, right? One who is concerned about others. So that way the message has to be delivered. So these are some of the interpretations of the topic. If you keep this interpretation at the center of your arguments, then your essay is likely to deliver good quality material to the reader or examiner. So that's it, guys. Now we are going to explore these topics in detail tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. in Marathi and at 9 p.m. in English. We will explore these topics in detail. What could be their different dimensions, what could be their different arguments, and what could be different examples you can use in these topics to prove your point. Okay, so let's meet again tomorrow at 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. That's it. Thank you.